Aren't you tired of those proteins out there that are chalk tasting um that don't taste good, that just make you feel sick to your stomach and or you're heading to the bathroom every 5 seconds or something like that, or you're feeling bloated and you feel like you can't eat anything after it. So try this award-winning, easy mixing, fast digesting, ISO 100 hydrolyzed 100% whey protein from Dymatize. We are now carrying it at Strong Tower Nutrition. So hop on there, grab your ISO 100, and feel good. Isolate for it's an isolate for your muscles, to support your muscles and to also help you get better every single day and add to your caloric intake and also taste good. Try it out. Strong Tower Nutrition, stnutrition.com. What's up, everyone? Today's guest is a longtime friend of mine that I knew from high school, and we just recently reconnected, and we got a long talk during the podcast, and it was great to hear from her. It was great to hear what she's passionate about. It was great to hear all the things she cares about in her life, and how much she cares about like what's going on today within the protesting and the COVID and all that other stuff that we deal with, and just really I think you'll learn a lot from both what I think about things and what she thinks about things. We really put our two ways of thinking together, and then we took ideas back and forth. So here she is, Miss Jada Stephenson. It's my foundation. It's my faith. It's my work ethic. It's my drive. It's everything that I've tried to build for myself that has made me who I am. I'll do what it takes to make you believe. It's cool to see what other people are doing, but I don't really talk to any of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Who were like your best friends?
In high school?
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh, really?
I mean, I was friends with mostly girls.
Yeah.
And I don't really talk to any of them. I don't think, unless I'm missing something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But how have you been?
I'm good. I've been like up to this point super super busy. Like can't breathe busy, but now I'm just trying to learn how to be normal and like relax. And are we doing it now?
Yeah, it's going.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I've been super busy because I was in school. I just graduated last month with my master's in social work.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that program takes like 3.5 years. Well, it took me 3.5 years, and I worked full time, so it's just been. I've had no life, so now I'm just trying to be like a normal. It's like I'm probably trying to make up for all the lost time, like my whole 20s, pretty much. So, yeah.
I don't know, but what do you mean by you lost time? Like, what do you wish you would have done?
Well, like I've never really been on a vacation.
That kind of stuff. Okay.
I always had homework, or I always had things to do. Like I just didn't get to do as much as like some of my friends probably got to do, like go on big trips and relax and stuff like that. True. So.
Did you go to college like right after high school, or did you wait?
So, the goal was to go to college right after high school. I went to like one school, and I was there for like a week, and I was like, I can't do this school. It was like 5 years, like 5 hours away, and it was in the middle of nowhere. It was like crazy. So, I also went with Drew, my boyfriend, and we were like, we gotta get out of here. So we came back, and then I wasn't like accepted anywhere like at that time. So I just like worked, and eventually I got accepted to UD. I went to UD for a couple years I thought I was gonna be a vet. And I went to UD for pre-veterinary medicine. and that didn't work.
Right.
And so I changed my major like a million times, and I went to different. Anyway, I was like all over the place. Then I finally graduated with my bachelor's in psychology at Wilmington, and then I took time off after that and went back to get my master's. That was
Where'd you get your master's at?
Widener.
Oh, okay.
It's in PA.
Okay.
It's in Chester, I think. I don't know. I did a line, so.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I went from trying to be a vet to becoming a social worker. Actually, I thought I was going to be like a psychiatrist for a second.
Yeah.
And then I switched to social work, and that was what I probably should have did the whole time because I'm like so passionate about it now. But,
oh, good.
Yeah, I had to go through a lot of.
Is that like a broad like thing, like social work?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's like in something in particular that you do?
So right now I work with people with developmental disabilities, like intellectual disabilities.
Yeah.
I'm a manager at an agency that helps them find employment and like different type of vocational opportunities. But social work is literally in everything, like schools, the government, healthcare, anything and everything. Social work is important. So it's really broad. I don't even have enough time to go into all those.
Right, yeah.
How much, like, what social work is. But, like, my end goal is to be in healthcare.
Okay.
And to work with people with, like, chronic illness. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, like palliative. I don't know if you've heard of palliative care.
No.
So, like, people who, like, have, cancer or diabetes or lung disease or heart disease, like, chronic conditions. Like, people, like, live with cancer, apparently. And they can, like, have cancer for, like, 14 years. But it's just managed through treatment. So basically, palliative care there's no cure for it. So like someone who has diabetes or substance use disorder or dementia. Oh, wow. Alzheimer's and all that. Those are all chronic conditions that there's no cure for, but you can live with treatment. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to this whole thing, but that's what I want to do. Yeah. And I'm actually like, also I'm really passionate about like veterans and that population. So my like dream job would be to work at the VA hospital as a social worker. So
that's funny. I've never heard that someone say that's their dream job. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people like I run across seem like very impatient, and it seems like they hate being there and that kind of thing. Social workers? I don't know if it's them. That might be healthcare. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the actual social worker or not, but like when was I in the VA hospital? I was in some VA hospital near UPenn because my wife goes to UPenn for all her stuff or whatever. And my father-in-law had surgery at the VA hospital near there. And so we went to go visit him. And it's just like, I was like, walked in there and I was like, ugh.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like poorly funded and they need a lot of help. But they're not. It's not like it's Christiana Care or like any of those places. It's like I think they're like government funded, so they're not like they don't just have the funding that they need. And I think people could probably get burned out, social workers and nurses and all of them. So I don't know. I can't speak on it because I haven't worked there, but yeah, they need help. Like veterans and their health care is important. No one like really thinks or talks about it. I mean, everyone's like, I support veterans, and then like, but they
don't do anything about it.
They don't really know, like that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I've been in and out of the VA a lot because my boyfriend Drew, his dad was a veteran. He was in the Vietnam War. Oh, wow. He was a paraplegic. He had his legs amputated. I mean, he was like one of the like really difficult cases that you might see. So we were always in and out of there for him. So that's how I kind of got exposed to it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple friends like, dealt with a lot of probably like PTSD and stuff like that, and one guy didn't, ended up taking his own life, but and it sucks. To see people go through that and then other people just don't care. You know what I mean?
They don't take it seriously. I mean, mental health isn't taken seriously anyway. Like, it's really not.
Yeah, which is a weird thing.
It's
you know what I mean? It's weird that people don't care more about it. It's definitely bringing a lot of light now, but now it's like everyone has it. Everyone has something. You know what I mean?
Like honestly, I really do think that, and I think like I think like people should take care of their brains the same way you take care of your cholesterol or
Oh,
your blood pressure. I mean,
100%.
like, yeah, I'm like a strong believer that everyone should like talk to a professional at some point, even if you don't have any problems. It's just like maintenance. It's just like your yearly checkup. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it should be looked at that way
Yeah.
rather than
And it definitely depends on the individual because I'm
yeah.
someone um, that I had to go through that in middle school, I think. Or was it high school? No, I don't think it was high school. I think it was middle school. I went to a couple professionals and I
Mm-hmm.
hated it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like what they were trying to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed like they were putting everyone else in my life down,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like that. I don't know what that was
Wow.
about. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
just them,
Mm-hmm.
but I hated that. And I've really along the years I've tried to grow myself.
Mm-hmm.
And learn how to change things myself
Mm-hmm.
rather than
Depending on
depend on medication.
yeah.
Because I am someone that
Oh
probably
yeah.
needs medication for
Yeah.
some things.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But
I'm also very holistic and like
yeah,
and I think that some people probably there are people who probably need medication, like really need it, but I think that you should try everything before you even get to that point.
oh definitely.
Like I told you a million times, I have ADD really bad.
Yeah.
I don't take medicine for it. I don't want to be on medication, so I choose to like meditate and just do more natural, holistic ways of like managing my stress because like with my ADD, I think comes anxiety sometimes. And I just have to learn how to manage that myself. But I have the tools to do that where not everybody else doesn't. I do because I went to school for this, so
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, in high school, I was on Adderall, and I couldn't stand it because it made me a zombie. But you know what's
really?
weird though? Because I was diagnosed with ADHD for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't hyper at all. I was very quiet. Like I was shy. I was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But with the people, if I was close to them, I was outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
But with other people, if I didn't know you or something, like
Mm-hmm.
I was like kind of standoffish.
Mm-hmm.
So the Adderall kind of made me more. It did make me focus. It did work for that. But it also made me lose my appetite. So I lost. I remember one year, I lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I got down to 120, and I was also trying to gain weight at the time. But then I went to the doctor. He's like, "We need to take you off this medicine because you're losing tons of weight." And I was like, "Really?" I didn't even notice it
Mm-hmm.
because it was just my everyday. I just wasn't eating and all that kind of stuff, and it just made me feel like a zombie. It didn't make me feel my regular self.
Mm-hmm.
So after high school was kind of when I decided that or when I got into lifting. I think lifting, like, it helped me with my focus. It helped me with my mentality and my anger and all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can help for a lot of people in those ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting, exerting your energy into something else rather than sitting and having it all in your head. It does so much for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people that all the time, but people think I'm just like running my mouth.
I think it's important to find an outlet and find like that was probably like your way of like coping almost, like it's just like it's like freeing almost. So yeah. And yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so it's I still think it's funny. I didn't know you left Red Lion.
That is
I thought you were up there graduating and everything.
Yeah. I used to wish I did,
crazy.
but like it is. I mean, high school doesn't matter. It is what it is. But I was like so sad to leave. It was like a big deal.
I think that's huge though. That like putting that together, what you just said, like high school doesn't matter. Compare it to people with like mental health issues. You know what I'm saying? Because kids in high school that want to harm themselves or harm someone else, those kind of things. You have to know high school doesn't. Your life starts after high school.
Yeah, I don't even honestly, like I don't even remember what I was even like. Like I don't even know what I would talk like. I don't even know. So
I think you were the same.
Was I?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I think you were the same.
Just like
Nah, but that's
No,
fun
you
though.
find
Like,
who you are, like who I am, who I was a year ago is not who I am today. Like
of
who I was
course,
5 years ago, I'm not that person. You know what I mean?
of
So it's
course.
like that's just I didn't even really find myself until like my mid 20s. Like you know what I mean? And some people are still searching. So I just they put a lot of pressure in high school.
Yeah,
I always feel so bad. But even like to my 23-year-old self, my 24-year-old self, I'm like, girl, I would have like gone and just like chill out, like.
yeah. I mean,
But
and also even in your 20s, you're just kind of like you're looking at everyone else and seeing what everyone else is doing. Oh wait, I'm not
mhm,
doing that. You know what I mean?
mhm,
It's like with me in high school, everyone's going to these colleges. I didn't plan on going to college,
mhm,
so I was like, I need something to do. You
mhm.
know, so I was planning on joining the army.
Okay.
So I actually went in and I enlisted and all that kind of stuff, and then I went to Fort Meade in Baltimore to get all my like health, like physical and all that kind of stuff done. And they looked at my sheet, and they were like, they looked at this other sheet that I filled out, and they're like, why don't these two match? They went and looked at my medical records, and I lied about because my recruiters told me to. They said,
Oh,
don't
they
say,
did.
yeah, I had a concussion the year before playing Australian football, and um, they said, "Oh, you didn't put this concussion on there. You can't lie on here, because when you go into the room to fill out this medical questionnaire or whatever, there's signs everywhere say if you lie, you'll spend this much time in jail. You got to pay this fine." And I'm looking around, I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I told the truth. I was like, "I had a concussion." You know what I mean? So they
Oh.
didn't match, and then they went back and looked at my medical records, and they saw that it was true. Sat down in this guy's office, and he just yelled in my face, and
Oh my god.
like asking why I lied, and I just told him like I snitched on my recruiters. I was like, they told me to, and I was like, he was like, okay. He's like, fill out a statement. So I wrote a statement. I sat in a room. They put me in this other room. I sat there for 6 hours watching Law and Order SVU, and no one came to talk to me about anything. So finally, I was fed up. I called my recruiter and I was like, look, this is what happened. No one's been to talk to me for like 6 hours. I've been here since 4 in the morning. And he was like, okay, we'll send so and so to come get you. They came and got me from Baltimore, took me back home. That was it. No one ever called
So
me.
you never even did you even find out any oh wow.
No,
Over a concussion?
yeah,
What? Like everybody I've had a concussion.
yeah,
Like
yeah. But they take the smallest things serious. You know what I mean? And especially
yeah.
lying about it, they weren't too happy.
So
That's why
did
that dude got in my face.
the recruiter ever do anything like defend you or go and talk
No,
to them or
nah, he picked me up and we left.
and he didn't okay.
No one stopped to talk to me or anything. No one came to talk to me, tell me what was happening. Nothing like that. So that's why I think it was just meant to happen like that.
Mm,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because then is where all the personal training stuff came in. My mom signed me up for a school without telling me, and then from then
Yeah.
on, it's opened doors. Like I've got in my comfort zone by that times 1,000. By being in just spandex in my underwear and being on
Mm-hmm.
stage and posing in front of people
Mm-hmm.
with bodybuilding, and it's opened tons of doors, and it's been a ride. And I look back, I was like, wow, it's been like 10 years. Like
You've
it's
experienced all these different things.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And I would have never thought of any of that in high school. So it's like people that are in
Yeah,
high
that's the
school just
whole
know that
yeah.
it's not gonna it doesn't end there. Your life starts after high school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be the
You feel
same
like
dude I was in the real world like a year after high school, and it wasn't working. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause you knew me, like I was always kind of like flirtatious, and I was always like trying to be a ladies' man and stuff like that. Try to do same thing in the real world. Nope, I got rejected left and right, and I went into a deep depression.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It was just your journey to find yourself.
Yeah, that's really what it was,
Yeah.
And then that kind of helped me find my wife.
That's
So how
big.
do you and your boyfriend meet?
We met in seventh grade when we were 12. We had,
Jeez.
I know. he was in love with me. So, but I was like, oh yeah. So we were in like health class, and he was like in love with me, and I was like, okay. And my best friend now, we actually all met when 7th grade. I went to Gauger.
Okay.
And we were just like cool. And then I left and came to Red Lion from Gauger. I came to Red Lion in 8th grade, and I stayed until the end of 10th grade. So I left junior year.
Oh, okay.
And what happened? I don't even remember. I ran into him at my cousin's, my my second cousin, something. She was having like a party, I guess, like a house party, and then I guess they were like friends. And then I went to the party, and I was like, oh my God, I recognize you. And then like we just kind of started talking there in like 9th grade a little bit. And then it just kind of fizzled out, whatever, we're in 9th grade. And then the next year, 10th grade, like when we had math class together with Miss Swam and like everybody. Do you remember this year? Kind of?
What, 10th grade?
10th
Probably.
grade.
I don't know. If you bring it up sometime, I might remember it.
I don't know. But we started talking in 10th grade because this girl, Melissa Rotenberry.
Yeah.
She went to
Glasgow, right?
Glasgow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how it happened. I ran into her at a fair. She said that he was asking about me. I don't even remember what happened, but somehow she kind of like set that up. We were children. We were 16, and then that was it. I've been with him since 10th grade for 13 years. But I mean, on and off and stuff too. Like,
right.
But is it like really breaking up? It's like
yeah.
So basically, I've been with him since 10th grade. Just crazy.
Do you talk about marriage at all, or not?
Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, we planned everything, but like I was just very school driven and focused.
So you want to wait till you finish?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I was never pressed about stuff like that. I don't know why. I just didn't think about it. I don't know. Even like 10th grade, like everybody was like trying to get boyfriends, and I was just like, whatever. And then he just like came, and I was like, all right.
All right. I'll try
I wasn't
this out.
planning.
Yeah.
So basically I wanted to finish school because I couldn't, like, I was so stressed out I couldn't even function. So I couldn't think of anything on top of that. So now that I'm done, we're like talking about all that stuff. So.
I just remembered that I did see you back, when was that basketball league? 2012?
Class. I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, I know. That's how I met Heather, and I was like, oh my God, you're so cool. We were like, sit and talk through your games. Yeah.
It's funny because I always bring it up because my team won the championship that year, so I always talk about.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always. I always like make a joke and be like, "Oh yeah, remember when I won that chip in 2012?" and stuff like that. And my wife's like, "You're so dumb."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny, like when I think of you, there's a couple things that come to my head.
Oh God.
And this. No, don't be sorry. Like I was telling you, like you kind of helped me in a way.
Stop.
And I can't even. I can't think of it without laughing.
Like you're about to make me. Okay, I helped you.
You helped me. So.
Oh God.
I can't even think of it. No, you'll remember. The day I walked into Spanish class.
I don't remember. What?
See this.
I don't.
You don't remember that? When I walked into Spanish class and I had the shoes, and you don't remember that?
So what did I do, Ben? What did I do to you? You poor thing. I'm so sorry.
No, it was you and Maya made fun of my shoes when I just. No, they were awful. They were awful. I don't even think these were them, but these are like
kind of like the orthopedics.
They look like you called them pop-up shoes.
I did not.
Either you or Maya did.
I probably did. I'm so.
Either you or Maya or something.
I mean,
no, it was hilarious. Like every time I think about that, I think about the shoe story, and I just die laughing because one time
I would love to hear this. Okay.
It was after school. So the whole thing started was when I had a dentist appointment, so I came into school late.
Okay.
And my mom had taken me to the mall, after my dentist appointment, he said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Okay." And I don't know what I thought I had better taste in shoes than that, but uh, so I bought those and I came walking in and I was like strutting, like I was like, you know, and
Yeah.
and then after class, like you and Maya called me out and you just started laughing, and I took a good hard look at them and I'm like, oh, you're right. Like I was so mad at myself, and they're like, Ben, you just came strutting in with those bright white shoes.
So confident. So confident.
And then after school, you guys were hanging around, and you told me to come out because you wanted to see my shoes. I had taken my shoes off, and then walked out, and you started laughing even harder. I was like, oh, this is. I loved you guys though.
Did
Like,
you?
I
Okay.
loved, no, I don't feel. I don't take
know,
that.
That's really nice. Okay.
No, I don't take that as like being mean or anything. Like I don't get like that.
Honestly, we treat each other that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it more
All the
fun.
time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's different if it's one sided.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I loved about that, and I love that story because it's hilarious.
Okay. Are there any more? Is that
Huh?
that's like the main one?
That's the main one.
Okay.
But first, I think there's a question that has to do with this kind of stuff. Yeah. So someone asked, "What's the best memory you have with Ben?"
Oh my gosh.
If you can think that far back.
I can. I just have to think for a sec. I'm trying to remember because I was like remember when me and Mary were soccer managers?
Soccer managers, yeah.
That was like so much fun.
That was fun too. Oh, that's the other
We would
story.
come to
That's
ours.
the other story.
Oh, you have another story?
Yeah.
Dang.
Do you remember that the shoe story though?
I don't really. I kind of remember.
the shoes.
I don't remember me being that harsh. I kind of remember like.
I think it's because you were with Maya.
Oh no!
I think when you were with her, like you both like flamed the shit out of me. Like you just went hard.
No way.
And I loved it though. Yeah.
Just
that's
kidding.
cool.
Okay. I think I just remember us having math class together, and it was like me, you, and Heather.
I think we had every class together.
We did.
I think so. I can't remember. I don't remember sophomore year at all.
I know. You thought I was our senior year though. I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have memories from senior year with me. I don't know.
Nah.
I just remember like we hung out like kind of all the time because we had like math class, and it would be like me and you and Heather and Sarah.
Sarah,
and
yeah.
Landon.
Yeah.
And I forgot the other guy's name, but I really liked him. We were good. I was friends with like everybody.
RJ.
Oh my god, RJ. I loved RJ. No, he was blonde and he was like in the band with him and Landon were like.
Oh, Andrew Elder.
Andrew.
Yeah.
How is he? I wonder what he's up to.
I don't talk to none of these people.
I know. I just remember like hanging out and just laughing really hard in math class. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember being the soccer manager, so
Yeah.
I would see you then. I know that there are. Obviously, I always remember the lotion. I honestly remember.
I remember lotion.
Hanging out with you and Alyssa and John.
Yeah.
Like I loved Alyssa and John.
Yeah.
And
Because you were always there after school.
I was always there after school.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I
wasn't even in anything. Well, I was, but oh yeah, I was. I was a cheerleader.
Cheerleading.
Yeah, I would always talk to them, and we would just like mess around. And I feel like when I leave, though, I'm gonna remember so many things. But I just remember hanging out in math class.
Do you remember as the soccer team, we went out to eat?
Oh my god, what did I do?
You don't remember that?
No.
How do I remember these and you don't?
I don't even remember like last week. I don't remember anything. I
So-
don't remember any of my 20s. I just don't know. But I would love to hear this.
So, I think it was the whole soccer team. We
Yeah.
went out to eat. I don't know if it was before or after a game, but so after we were done eating, I was trying to see like how much I should leave for a tip, and I had my book bag with me, and I pulled out a calculator, and you and Mary just like that was the end of it. That was the end
weird
of
about
it.
that? Like you were a student.
They're like, Ben really pulled out his calculator. Like, I was like, I'm trying to figure out the tip. What you mean? That was before we had like phones and stuff.
I
Like they
know.
couldn't do it,
That
you know.
is so funny.
But no, that was hilarious.
That is so funny.
Yeah, that's one of the stories. that I think about all the time.
Really?
Yeah, that and the shoe ones were one of the most hilarious stories I tell people all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. So
Yeah.
then what happened with the shoes, like, after that day?
I stopped wearing them.
You did?
Yeah, they became my grass cutting shoes. Yeah. I was like, nah, man. It was pretty bad.
That's okay.
But
I went through, I don't even know what kind of phases I went through. I was like, I look back and I'm like, what? Why was I wearing that?
yeah, I mean, I think everyone did that. I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I went through, I think I did that more in middle school than, actually, I think I had some in high school. Because remember I had the long hair?
Mm-hmm.
Did I shave it when you were there?
No.
Oh, okay, so I still had the long hair.
When I saw that you shaved
Yeah.
it. I loved your hair. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, but everyone started growing long hair, and I couldn't. I was like, nah.
No, can't be basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everyone started growing out their hair, so I was like, oh, nope, gotta shave it. Can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But, so I don't know how much you want to get into this, unless you have something else to say.
No, but later from this, something might pop back, and I'm gonna come back to this.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's kind of how my brain works.
That's fine. That's how I am too.
Okay.
I gotta say it right away because if I think it was gonna leave, yeah.
Do you like always overtalk people? Because I do that sometimes. I'm sorry. Just because I have to say it right then, so I'll be like, like, or no, you don't really do that.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I can't. No, I have no idea.
Okay.
No one's ever told me that I talk over them or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I try not to. I'm conscious of it, so.
Yeah, I'm not. I just,
yeah.
You know, if it comes to my head, because I've done it in here, like I've tried to, okay, I got to bring that up next, but then I'm like, oh crap, I forget.
Yeah.
So I have to bring it up. Yeah.
I definitely have the easier end. Like I can just, and you have to like keep time and stuff. How long do these usually go?
Like an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're halfway in.
We are. Yeah. That's it. No, we gotta keep going.
All right,
keep going.
We'll keep going as long as you want.
Okay, I'm ready. Next question. Wait,
But,
is that what we're doing?
But I don't know if you want to talk about like I saw that you and Drew both went to like protest at the Troop 2.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk a little bit about that, like, and what it means to you and that kind of stuff? What they said,
Yeah.
if they said anything back or.
Yeah. So actually, it was an amazing experience. I had never protested before. My mom did, my grandmom did, but I never did, and I never thought I would have to either. So
right.
that's crazy. But it was amazing. Like we went to Troop 2. One of the officers came out and like we were there for a while, and just the thing that I took away from it out of all of this is just how with everything that's going on, it's such a diverse group of people who are like together versus like in the previous years, I feel like it was mainly Black people, like more.
Yeah.
It wasn't as, I mean, there's always been people who have, you know, try to fight with us, but I'm just saying that this time is just like so amazing because you just see how many different people, it was so many different people there. It was like tons of people there.
Right.
And just like that camaraderie and that unity of being with all these people, and like we don't know each other, but like I don't know, it just like it was very hopeful.
Right.
I know that it looks really bad and everything looks like really, really bad right now on both sides, on all sides or whatever, but there's like definitely more positive than negative, even though
it's just not being shown because the media. That's what it is.
Yeah. But it's like it's crazy. Like the cop came, he had a moment of silence with us, he kneeled with us, and he said, said that they were like making changes within the department, they're revisiting everything they do as far as their training and different things like that, and that the people who are a threat or to kind of like their mission, they've been removed, is what he said. I mean, I don't know, but it was nice. It was like I was honestly scared. I was like scared to go because of what I was seeing.
Yeah. But
at the same time, I felt like I can't be alive right now and not do it because it's like I'm gonna have my children and my children's children, and like I feel like I can't just not do it. We stayed like really far in the back though, like we weren't like we were like we're getting a little too close, but it was just like a big moment for me. Like it's something I'm gonna remember forever. As far as like with Drew, because for those who don't know, I'm in an interracial relationship and he's white. I honestly feel like I've been very fortunate with him, I guess. That kind of sounds weird, but I've never had to like worry about this kind of stuff with him. Like it's just natural. Like when me and him are together, it's just me and him. I honestly forget all the time that we're like a thing, I guess. Not that we're a thing, we're normal people, but we don't think about it. We don't talk about it. Like we talk about it, but we don't think about it. Like it's just we're just together. We're two people who are together.
Right.
So it didn't feel like anything different doing that with him versus doing that with anybody else. But I feel like it was maybe good for other people to see. Because our type of relationship, you don't see it very often, I guess. You don't see our version. I don't know how to say it, but I've been very fortunate with him. I've been very fortunate with his family. I've never had to deal with anything from like any type of racial tension or anything. I've just been, I mean, that's like my family. Like I've told you, I've been with him since I was 16. So that's his mom's my mom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she was like, why didn't you guys tell me? I would have came. Like, they're just, so I feel very, very supported by them because we have such a good relationship and they're literally my family that it's easier for me to feel comfortable to voice my opinion or voice my feelings or because I feel I'm so supported.
Yeah, definitely.
I just have a lot of like woke friends and I just have a great support system. So
that's good.
It just felt great. It felt really, really good. It was very peaceful.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect because I'm just looking on like Instagram and the news.
Seeing all the bad stuff, right?
Right. So I'm like, oh God, like I don't know, but I have to. I just felt like I didn't have a choice, and he felt that way too. And I don't know if that answers your question. It was great. Everybody was peaceful. Everyone was like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like camaraderie. It's like how you would feel like on a team or something like that. It's just.
Yeah, and what people don't understand is because they're so far deep into watching TV and what's on there and what they're showing. It's like, oh, this is what's going on everywhere. You know what I mean? Or they're burning down this building, blah, blah, blah. No. Keep in mind, those are two separate parties.
Two separate things.
You know what I mean?
Two separate things.
So, because when people hear protest, you think, oh, that's the bad. No, I'm talking about the peaceful ones that are walking with signs, you know what I mean? And they're together. And, you know, and we're all trying to do this thing together because no one wants this. No one wants this racism in the world anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very played out. It's old. Everyone's tired of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For every race. You know? And
I know.
You know, and
I've been saying, I'm like, after this movement, we have a whole bunch of other movements to do. Like, this is just the start because this is kind of what's the most urgent at the time. But I wouldn't even say that, actually. I would just say, we're doing this one first. Next is whoever else. Like,
well, I think Black Lives Matter is our thing right now is because one, it started here. You know what I mean? All that hate, all that the enslavement of people that you stole from their homes and brought to your place to work for you and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the history of America. You know, which is why it's so important.
Why
we are. Yes, other races deal with racism, but this is just a different thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
we're, you know, historically speaking, African Americans, Black people, because you're not only African American, we have all types of Black Americans, but I mean, we're just like at the bottom, like the very, very bottom. You have to start there. And like, all people can't be free unless Black people are free. Like we can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've like seen this documentary I watched on Netflix, which kind of reminds me of kind of what we're talking about. It's called 13th.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yep.
Okay, so that like basically explains it from start to finish.
It does.
Like how oppression and racism is systemic.
Yeah.
How everything was designed to be the way it is, and so there is no way that it's like this isn't real. This is not really happening. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? This is like our lifetime. So that's such a good documentary. I'm glad you've seen it.
You know what I mean?
It pretty much explains it. If you have any questions,
explain it, and it shows everything. It shows the whole reason policing was invented was for that reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know. And people just need to be more open-minded. I think people are so on their high horse, and when I say people, I'm talking like in particular, like not all white people, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
Especially that I see on Facebook and stuff like that. I know you're all about the cops, and all cops aren't bad. I get that.
All cops aren't bad.
All people aren't bad.
All people aren't bad.
You know what I mean? And like right now I do security, and I did it when I was younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was a security guard at a grocery store. And the biggest thing I learned is that you can't stereotype anyone. Because the people that were stealing were people that you wouldn't even suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And and that was a learning experience for me. And then you think back at what was Eric Garner? Was that 2014?
I can't put the years with the...
Yeah. I mean, and that, and even since then, there's tons more people that have opened their eyes to now. You know what I mean? Because they see what can be done.
That's what I love, though.
Because of the abuse of power. Right.
Yeah. I love that, though. That now it's like everyone cares. Yeah. Not, you know what I mean?
That's why I think now there's definitely going to be a change made. There's definitely going to be a change made. Yeah. No matter how long it takes.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
You can't just unravel hundreds of years of...
And you know what I think? I think having this virus at the same time actually helps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a certain way.
Yeah, because people have to pay attention. They can't be occupied with anything else.
Which is why a lot of NBA players don't want to play, because they think it'll be distracting to what's going on. Mm-hmm. Some ways I can see that. Other ways I'm like, it's been done. You know what I mean? They've been playing towards a lot of other protests from back when Martin Luther King was doing them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But, if people really think that it's going to distract them, then I wouldn't play either. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But also, it's been said by certain NBA players that are just now speaking about it. I'm like, what took you so long? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean... I don't know. This whole thing, I've talked about it a lot of times on my podcast, because it just gets me worked up, and, I don't know. I just wish people would be more open-minded and see what's really going on rather than following what, the president says or following what the news is saying about the president and what the news is saying in general. Mm-hmm. Right. Actually do your actual research, your own research. Mm-hmm. I watch documentaries like crazy.
I love documentaries.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And even watching the what was that movie called? The Black Klansman? Is that what that movie's called? Mm-hmm. I just watched that. Yeah. Even that has history in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think Spike Lee directed it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, all those different things.
There's tons of research out there.
Just got to educate yourself, yeah.
I mean, people of all, like, disadvantaged populations, not just Black people, but, like, all disadvantaged populations have, there's tons out there. It's very easy to educate yourself. I mean, if you don't, or you're not educated, it's because you're choosing not to be. Because there's, I mean, a boat and boatloads of crap out there for you to watch, read.
Especially with the internet and everything.
Like, there's just, you know what I mean? And it's very apparent, and it stares you right in the face, and there's no way you can look at it and say that that's not what's happening, because you just, I mean, that's just you just wanting to just be ignorant, you know? So, yeah, I'm at the point now, I used to be very, like, trying to explain everything, trying to be, like, a good example of what a Black woman should be, and this and that. And like now I'm just like, if you don't get it by now, it's like bye. It's like deuces.
That's
like
true.
I've had to cut friends through this, very close ones. Like I'm just like I don't have time. Like you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Educate yourself. Is not my job to make sure you understand anything.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Like I recently had a very close friend, who I've made the decision that I can no longer be her friend, and like she had a child. Like I am the type of person who I take your problems on as mine. Like I have to be this way to do what I do.
Right.
I'm an empath. Like I'm very empathetic. I'm very like I don't even have to know you, and like I will feel your pain, and I'm just one of those types of people. So I felt like I took this person like under my wing. I felt like I'm all about empowerment, empower people, empower women. I tried to empower her. I tried to, just be a good friend to her, especially because a lot of people judged her right off the bat and like didn't give her a chance. Like you said, like you look at someone, you kind of judge them. And I wasn't, I'm a very open person. I'm a very accepting person. And like you wouldn't even believe, like some of the people that I'm friends with, you would never think that we'd be friends. Like you'd be like shocked, but I'm just so like diverse, and so I'm friends with like all types of people, and so I gave this girl a chance. I really considered her like one of my best friends. She anyway, she is not on the same page,
right?
Though I thought she was. There had been incidences that I kind of had let pass, like slide, because I was like, you know what, I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I try to empathize, like, I guess it's not your fault that you don't know things, but I mean, just, whatever, educate yourself. But she didn't. And so, I had to stop being, I had to like kind of cut her, and it was very hard. It was very hard for me, but I just feel like I can't take on that burden onto myself.
Of course.
It's just going to cause me too much turmoil. And it's like, for my sanity, I can't.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I was going with that. See, that's what
hey, it is what it is.
I don't remember how we got there, but
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So with your relationship, have you ever gotten any like looks or someone say anything to you or anything like that?
So, yes. Really? Not recently, because we're inside all the time.
Oh, right.
The first time I've ever... Okay, so let me just say, I was very, like, innocent and naive. All through high school. It wasn't until college that I even really saw the world for what it was. I didn't think that this stuff was still an issue in high school. I had no idea. I really didn't. I was very sheltered, very innocent, very naive. Just, like... I still had like a kid brain where I thought the world was perfect. Like when you think of your childhood and you think, oh, the world was the best at that time, right?
Yeah.
Like we all think like the 90s. The 90s were awesome, which I love the 90s. But whatever. I was super naive. It wasn't until I went to college when I went to UD. That was the first time I ever got called the N-word. That was the first time. I had already been with Drew 16, 17, 19, like 4 years by then. You know what I mean? One day we were walking down Main Street, and like this group of dudes who you could tell were just like some like frat bros types, like worse. Very like the Sperry's and the salmon shorts and the frickin' whatever.
That's the worst.
Yeah, but see, to me, I never looked at it. I was so like, I didn't judge people, so I didn't look at anyone and think alarming, nothing. I was just like, all right, it is what it is. Do you? I'm like everyone. Do what makes you happy. Like, but we were walking hand in hand, and these dudes started yelling, calling me that, like, saying things to Andrew. Drew, sorry, he just want to call me Drew. And he like he handled it, but that was the first time, and I think that was like the pivotal moment that my eyes just went like this, like all this time. And like these people were my age. I'm like, you were raised the same decade I was raised. Like we were at the same age. How? Like I don't think that way. So I don't understand how you can think that way. And that was like, that messed me up. Like people don't realize like someone calling you a name might not seem like a big deal, but it's like that kind of stuff is like trauma. It was like traumatic. I was messed up after that because I'd never been called that. I like didn't trust anyone. I like that's part like a lot of that is part of the reason why I just like left UD because I just didn't feel comfortable anymore.
Yeah.
Redline, I felt totally comfortable. I didn't care. I was like whatever. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And nothing ever happened there. So, but I'm just saying like it just changed my whole like mindset and like my whole like way of like it's like when you have your whole world and it just like blows up in your face and you're just like what?
Yeah.
So then after that is when I started noticing things. I guess I was blind up to that point. I don't know. And then there's just, I guess like, no, not really. Me and Andrew, when we're out, we don't pay attention to people. We don't pay attention to anyone. That was probably the biggest thing that's happened. Again, I said like I'm really fortunate with him and his family. I never had to deal with like the racist grandma, the racist uncle.
Yeah.
His family's like super diverse. Him and his family are from like Philly, like the Philly area. He grew up in Darby. He was like in a majority like black area. Like he didn't come from a lot of money. Like he's just a very humble person. Mm-hmm. So like I just got lucky. Like because I can't promise that if I like had dated another person that I wouldn't have had to deal with that. So I really can't like say that I've just been very fortunate. I haven't had to deal with that. His family and me are so close. So other than that, like no, not really. I mean, I'm sure we get like looks and things like that, or like I actually, you know what's interesting is that I used to get a lot of comments from black men, you know, having comments about me dating him more than sometimes, not more than, but sometimes I would get that, or like we were very rare in the time that we started dating. There weren't a lot of people like couples like us. So like, we were kind of always alone and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but people like I guess people didn't understand it, but I don't know. It's not like we knew, we just liked each other. I don't know. It wasn't like I only like this type of person, I only like this type of person, or I'm gonna go after this. Like it's just we just liked each other, we connected, and then I just been with him ever since.
And that's how it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I am anticipating stuff to happen in the future just because of now, especially leading up to November. I'm already in my head. I'm like we're about to experience some stuff, but we haven't by now. We're like. A lot by now we're going to. Yeah. There have been a lot of people though who have like offended me and he's like come to my aid, like kind of things. Mm-hmm. But I guess not like outright like the friggin' 1950s yelling at like that was like crazy. Yeah. That you know, racism now is subtle. It's not, you know what I mean?
It's closeted.
Yeah. It's not out in your face like that. Right. But that's an instant that like I'll always
because people that like to do that, you know. Well, racism in general is because people are scared.
Right.
Yeah, the whole reason, you know, after like the slaves were kind of like freed from what they were doing, but not really freed from the hate. Mm-hmm. Like what was that? The 50s and 60s and stuff like that.
Are you talking about like the Jim Crow
like Jim
era?
Crow stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, slavery ended.
So
black people couldn't have too much power.
Those stupid. I've read the Jim Crow laws. Are you kidding me? What kind of laws?
That's how it's systemic, right?
Yeah.
Like they say that their policies and laws, and as you remember from that documentary, when the dude flat out said, you know, it became unacceptable to flat out call someone the N-word or do this or do that. So then we decided we're going to make these things and call them policies. Yeah. But really, we know that the policies that we're putting into place is going to keep one group down and let the others stay on top. And that has continued to carry over, like, up until now. Like, it's continued to carry over, so.
Yeah. And the whole reason is because, you know, the white people wanted to continue to call themselves the superior race. Mm-hmm. You know, it's because they knew what could happen, and they were scared of it. Mm-hmm. To this day, they're scared. Their racism stays inside. Yeah. You know, it doesn't come out in words like it used to. It comes out more in subtle like actions.
Subtle. Yeah. Policies. The whole. I don't know if you've heard of the Karen phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like that kind of.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those
like,
videos. It's hilarious.
they're actually like really funny. Like,
Yeah.
they honestly make me like they can kind of cheer me up sometimes. Sometimes I get like really like, and then I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, just like like thing, those are acts of aggression because you know if you call the cops, like not saying that all cops are bad. I don't believe all cops are bad
Right.
at all, but you know that this person is at more risk of dying over this.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you call? Like, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like,
which
crazy.
is the exact reason the one who didn't have her dog on a leash at Central Park.
Yeah.
The exact reason she said there's an African American blah blah blah.
It's a weapon. Like
she knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing.
That's why. Right. And yeah, that kind of stuff, man. It just
I don't get the fear because we're I don't know if it's these people are so sheltered that they think that black people are not like normal people now. We're like middle class, upper class, like we make money. Like we're not taking anything that like away.
Right.
Nobody wants to take anything away. We just want equality. We just want to like I want to feel safe when I'm around a cop. I don't want to feel scared or on edge. I want to look at them and think, oh, thank God they're here, instead of like, fuck, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be afraid to be pulled over because I didn't put my signal on and then like friggin' die. Like, I'm an educated woman. I'm a nice person. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fear is now. It's just we don't want to die for being black. Like, I don't want to die in my watching TV eating ice cream.
Yeah.
And someone storms in and just kills me, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. Like, you know what I mean? So the fear that's there, I don't know what they're afraid of. Nobody's trying to reverse time and make white people slaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
no one wants that. No one even wants anyone to suffer. We just want to not suffer. You know what I mean?
And that's what other people don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when like my whole thing for people that are like, well, all lives matter. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh.
All lives do matter.
I'm like, yes, they do.
Right now, we need help with Black lives.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, well, guess what? All lives don't have to worry about what's going to happen with a cop when they get pulled over, or when they're walking down the street.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
When I'm jogging in my neighborhood.
Me, my brother, and my sister. You know, I don't know if you know this, but we grew up, and it wasn't a bad neighborhood, but around it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like down the road was like the Section 8 housing, and then we had bad apartment areas that were over here, and we lived over here. So, but we had friends from both of these, and we hung out all the time.
So you grew up cultured.
Yeah.
And diverse.
You know what I mean? And we were, besides my other friend, we were the only white kids. You know what I mean? And there was this one time, so cops were coming down our road all the time looking for whatever. One time we were playing outside, and we were playing basketball, and we had our shirts off, and we were just messing around, and, you know, cops were down. They were in the woods in our cul-de-sac, like, looking for something, and we're all just joking around and stuff. This cop comes out of nowhere, points a taser. I saw a red dot in my friend Devin's chest. And he's telling him to get on the ground. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, whoever you're looking for, it's not him. You know what I mean? And we just like stood there, like we're all just yelling at this guy. And they're like, and then finally he's like, okay. And he backs up. I'm like, and then we look at Dan, and I was like, why did he point it at you?
Yeah.
You know
How old
what I
were
mean?
you when this happened?
We were kids. You know, and we didn't understand it at that time. But then me and my brother and my sister were in a group chat. We were talking about it, and I was like, that's what that was. And we didn't know. At that time, that's what it was. And it's so crazy. My sister's been a part of that. She was in an area, she dapped up her friend. Whoop, whoop. Cops come up, pulled her friend out the car, put my sister against the car, pat her down. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because they thought that she was doing a drug deal. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? But, and the big thing for me, and I'm glad I'm hearing other people talk about it, is ever since this whole thing started, my biggest thing is the cops have no training.
I know.
Depending on the department, you know, each department might be, are going to be different.
Yeah.
But for the whole department and each individual cop also, like I know cops that they're out training constantly for their muscle, for their strength, for their mentality,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff, right? Um, but you don't know what other guys are doing. You need it department wide. You know, you need to like I don't know how you feel about like defunding the police, but I think they need maybe not a whole lot of money, and you could take some and put it in some part of the community, right? But they also need training that's more than 2 months in the
Yeah.
beginning when you first become a cop.
Yeah.
You know, because what happens after that?
Right.
Nothing. You get thrown out into the world and you get told to, oh, you got to deal with this angry person. They don't know how to do that.
What's
You know what I mean?
crazy is that, and I think about that all the time. Like, I had to go to school for 7.5 years to be a social worker. Like, I had to go to, I just had to go, my master's took 3.5 years, and I'm still not done. I have to go get 3,000 hours of clinical supervised hours from a licensed social worker, which takes 2 years. Then I have to take a big ass, expensive ass test that costs hundreds of dollars to even get my license to really be able to practice with people, right?
Right.
Like they're requiring us to get licensed now. Like it used to be a bachelor's was enough, and then it was a master's. Now I have to get licensed. I have to do all that just to be a social worker, but like law enforcement goes to training for how many months? Like how long do they go for? What is it?
It's like 2 or 3. Maybe not, yeah.
How? What? I don't have people's lives. Like I do have people's lives in my hands, but like, what? Like that's part crazy to me. Or like a lawyer has to go to school for what? Like 7 years, 8 years, and then what?
Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense.
I was listening to a Navy SEAL talking about it. He said we trained for 18 to 20 months for a 6-month mission. And these cops are training 2 months in the beginning when they first start, and that's it. You know what I mean? They don't, like, being a cop is a hard job.
Yeah.
You know? One, I think people ask too much of them. They're being called to things that, like the Rashard Brooks thing, they shouldn't have been called there. They should have had someone else be like, hey, man, you all right? Like, you know what I mean? It shouldn't have escalated to the way it was, right? And there's different situations where you should have some kind of, like, I don't have all the answers, but I'm saying you should have other people that can deal with that situation. If you see a homeless man, right?
Yeah.
If you see a homeless man, why are the cops being called to that? You know what I mean? Get him to get, you know, have someone to get sent out to him to like take him to a shelter or something like that. Do something for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because getting the cat out of the tree. Why does the cop need to be getting a cat or a dog from a tree or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's little things like that. You know, they're there to make people feel protected.
Right.
And there's a huge group of people that don't feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what needs to change.
I want to feel protected. I want to feel the same ease that anyone else would feel. You know what I mean? I want to that okay, this is I'm like safe now. Like you know what I mean? Like or like even and like that's the reason why I felt like I had to protest. Like I don't have kids yet, but I want to. And like if this could happen to this person, who says that it couldn't happen to me or to have like you know what I mean? I'm a very passive. I'm a very like nice, sweet person or whatever. But like you don't. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if I was an asshole. It doesn't matter if I was a freaking. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I want to feel that same ease. I want to feel that same ease for my children. I don't feel like my children should grow up in a different world than anyone else's children should grow up.
Exactly.
Like, that's just how I feel. And that brings me back to why I was talking to that friend that I had to let go. Because I couldn't remember why I was getting to the point. But like I loved her so much and her child. And some of the things that she was saying, I was like, okay, so like I didn't come into your mind. Like I went so hard for you. Like I go hard for the people that I care about.
Yeah.
I didn't pop in your mind. And then like you feel like my children should to have to live in a different world than your children. I mean, maybe you didn't think about that, but you must think that if you don't see why this is important, if you don't understand why people are protesting, you don't understand why these things are happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I look at you as the same way I look at myself, but I can clearly see that I'm not the same priority for you. My life is not the same for you.
Right.
So yeah.
No, but you're doing the right thing. I think you're doing the right thing because really there's no point. You can't really argue it. You know what I mean? Unless someone's asking you, hey, like, what? Asking you questions. You know what I mean? Because there's tons of people out there that don't understand because they don't come from certain places.
Right, and I didn't know that though.
Yeah.
I grew up so I'm multiracial. My mom is African American. My dad is Latin American, immigrated here from Guatemala. I grew up very diverse. My family is diverse. To people who don't know, Latin people come in all shades, and we're just. Anyway, my boyfriend's white. My best friend, who is his brother's girlfriend, is Vietnamese. Like we're just so diverse, and I thought everyone grew up that way.
Yeah.
And when I was at Red Lion, I thought everyone grew up like me. When I went to UD, I was like, everyone knows these things. Like nobody thinks about this stuff anymore. I just grew up so diverse and so cultured and so woke already that that's what I thought the whole world was like. So like it was it was like a slap in my face. But now I see that if there's someone who grew up in a community that is primarily just like them, why would they know anything different?
Mm-hmm.
Like unless their parents instilled that into them. But like people think it's so far away, and I'm like, our grandparents are still alive. They raised our parents who raised us. Why would you yeah.
Ruby Bridges is still alive.
I know. I saw that.
That's how far away you know it's not. You know, like that's how close. Like it's not that far away that we've been. You know what I mean? Dealing with all this, and then even years prior to that.
Yeah.
I found out she was still. I'm like, wow.
I know.
She's only in her 60s.
I know. That's like.
And she was like 6 or something at the time.
My friend's parents are older than her.
Yeah.
I have friends who have parents who are older than her.
And my in-laws are older than her, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my family was always to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they grew up in West Virginia.
Okay.
And
I have a best friend from West Virginia.
Yeah, like my granddad lived on a mountain. Like they lived on a mountain like by themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I've heard of the mountain people in West Virginia.
Yeah, like they live on top on a hill where under it was a coal mine. And my great granddad worked in the coal mine under there, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And even they don't have that type of mindset.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what I mean? So I guess it's taught.
Good to hear though. That makes me feel good to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not everyone. It's definitely, you know, it's certain individuals that, you know, I don't know if they were taught. I don't know why they choose to go that way. You know, this is why I love, it's kind of comical to hear people say, like, you're not American about, like, the Confederate flag, right?
Yeah.
I was like, well, Confederates didn't want to be Americans.
Technically, they committed treason and went against the president and went against America.
Right.
It's
they didn't want the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to learn history and stuff like that. And I just saw someone posted a video. It's like a compilation of like all these statues being torn down. Mm-hmm. And someone's like, I thought this was America, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, some of these statues should be torn down. Other ones, people need to do their, you know, they need to educate themselves and understand why they're tearing it down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because other ones, you know, like Ulysses S. Grant, you know, the leader of the Union, you know what I mean, helped abolish slavery and all that kind of stuff and help fight for us to be United States. Mm-hmm. All those different kinds of things. And there's people just tearing down these statues. That they're just because they're doing it out of emotion, right? And
they don't know which statues they're tearing down. Yeah, right. They're
just doing it because they're angry or they just want to do it, you know. Because there are people out there just trying to do it just to do it. Mm-hmm. They don't care about the issue at hand. Right. They just want to.
Those were the looters. Let's just.
No, you're
right. Like
you're
we
right.
said,
you're right.
Separate from the other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
people aren't looting as much now, but they're destroying and defacing and different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they need to understand why they're doing that. They need to understand the difference between, and also you have to know back then that slavery was normal. So you're probably gonna find even your favorite person from history probably had, enslaved people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's hard to take in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, for some reason it was a normal thing.
It was business,
Yeah,
economics, money. They didn't have machines, so they found vulnerable people, and
yeah,
they were the machines.
right.
It
Which
was
is
all
why
about
down
money. It was all
south,
about
yeah,
money.
which is why down south they were freaking out and they didn't want to become United States because they want the money,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
knew how much money they would lose if they, couldn't have what they had.
Mm-hmm. They just
You
don't
know,
lose their way of life, their lifestyle.
which is why even after the proclamation, like, I think it was Texas and some other southern states like kept going with it
I know.
without it even
People
knowing.
didn't even.
People
They
didn't
didn't even know that they were really free.
No.
Did I tell you my mom grew up in Mississippi? My mom's side of the family is from Mississippi.
Okay.
But with that being said, so I would spend my childhoods there.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi is like walking in a time machine, by the way. It's not
Oh, I'm sure.
anywhere like it's like I feel like it's probably the worst of all the states down there. Like
Yeah. Well, look at their flag.
Oh my god.
You know, they're still working on trying to get them to change their flag.
Yeah, but there are it's not like I have met like good people there. You know what I mean? Like growing up, like going there for the summers and like our churches. My mom integrated the church. Like she made like history. She like integrated this church that we still go to when I go there. Like when she was a little girl, she integrated a church. She went to this. It was like an all white church, and I don't remember all the details about it. She's actually like writing about it right now.
Was it an all white church or an all black church
first? It was
first?
An all white.
All white. Oh, okay, so she just started going there.
I don't remember all the details, and she's like writing it now. Like she's actually working on writing about it. But she integrated a church, and like that church is so diverse and so mixed, and so like it's great. So whenever I'm not saying that all southern states or whatever, or anything like that. Like what you said, like with your family's from like originally from like West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
My sister went to WV. She graduated like a year ago.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, like not all people are whatever like we would think they really like we think they are. Like I said, like one of my best friends, one of my best friends, she is like you would never think we were friends. She is so country. She has horses. She took me kayaking. She hunts, fishes. Like she is a tough chick or whatever. But we were like the best friends. Like that's all we want. We just be you, do you, but let's be cool. Like let's just inclusion, diversity.
It's about the person. It's about the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have plenty of white people that piss me off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I don't know how you can hate someone because of the color of their skin. That doesn't even make any sense to me.
Literally, we're different colors because we came from different parts of the world where we had to be a certain way to like survive. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like we're pretty much fundamentally we all have the same basic like morals. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, right.
Like I don't know, like interracial dating or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's not that crazy. It's not that different. It's not like when I met Andrew and I was around, well, I grew up very diverse, so I was always around all types of people, but it's not like when I started dating him that I was exposed to all these things that I've never, or like vice versa. It's we're literally just families. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, I mean, it's just like I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take or how long it's going to take.
Time.
Oh, definitely.
It's not like I think the changing people's mindsets is a little easier and might be faster than changing policies that have been in place for so long. And that's why it's important. It's like it's important to vote not only just for like the president. You have to go local too because that controls like where you live. That controls a lot of it. And dismantling all of that is going to take time.
Yeah.
So I really hope that it happens. Sometimes I don't think it'll happen in my lifetime, but I don't know. I just hope that there's just unity and inclusion everywhere for all people, and I'm not just Black people.
Yeah.
All people.
Right.
Like, just picturing a world like that, I don't see what's wrong with the world like that. Like, that's just like
I don't know.
the best thing ever.
You know
like,
what? It takes so much to hate someone.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot more to hate someone than it does to just like either just walk by or to love someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It comes so easy to like just like someone. You know, but too much energy comes out into hating someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've learned that a lot. Like, most recently, like, I didn't stop at a stop sign or something. Like, I yielded or something.
Yeah.
So this dude on a motorcycle was behind me and pulled up next to me. And like looked down into my car and was like, "Hey man, there's a stop sign. You need to stop." Blah blah blah. I'm just like, okay.
Sorry.
You know, and I kept going, but then I was being a dick, and I just like went real slow. I went real slow until I pulled into my driveway and stuff. Yeah. But then I realized I was like, usually that would bother me all day because I want to like rip that guy's face off, or I want to punch him in the face or something like that. But after that, I was just like, I don't care. It just takes too much effort.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm just like, whatever. Like,
yeah, it's wild.
But just think about how much people are missing out who aren't open-minded.
Yeah.
It is so much more fun to be friends with different people than people who are just like you all the time. It's so boring. Like, I've experienced so many cool different things because I'm open. Like I said, my friend who took me, look, I'm really afraid of spiders. I have arachnophobia. Like it's real.
Really?
Yes, I can't look at them in books. I can't look at them on TV.
Oh, gee. Were you always like that?
I like everything is dark like this. I feel like when I put yes, but it's bad. But I went horseback riding in the woods. I would have never done that if it wasn't for or kayaking. And she had a pet duck, and the duck was in the kayak with us with its little diaper. And we just did. I've just experienced so many things I never would experience if I had just been closed-minded to her and judged her off the bat. She had a pet dog named Marty.
Hold on. So you just like went past that like with her duck in a diaper.
I know.
Why is it in a diaper?
So cute because they poop all the time. But his name was Marty, and he was so cool. He was down. He was just so cool, man. He just came up with it. Like he came with us.
He didn't try and get in the water.
Maybe he did go in the water. Maybe she took off his diaper. I think he did. I think he was also in the water while we were in the kayak. But, like, anyone who knows me knows I'm really, really girly, and I really am afraid of spiders. I just remember horseback riding, and then there were these, like, big webs, and I was just, like, dodging them. But, like, it was so much fun. It was just, like, something I would have otherwise never done. I can't remember. She's convinced me to do a lot of crazy things. I don't know. But like I said, and then like my other best friend who's Vietnamese, like I love learning about people's cultures. Yeah. I love learning about different music, different types of dance, different types of food. I'm open to like whatever. Like I love that. And you're like limiting yourself when you...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. When you don't even... I don't know. It's just like I look at people and I see people who probably aren't even conscious of it, but like they might have like a group of friends that are all like the same or whatever.
Yeah, that's boring.
Which is fine. I mean, maybe that's just like the friends, whatever. But I just think in my head, like it's so. If I even tried to do that, it would probably be so difficult for me because I just. Yeah. I'm just cool with everyone. I just don't get how people live that way, like so limited and closed, and it's like you're limiting yourself and like.
Oh, definitely. Like for me, I'm the biggest fan of culture. Like I love trying new foods. I love trying. Music can be a little I mean, but I like all music too. Yeah. You know, like if you look at my like playlist, I can go from listening to Whitney Houston to listening to like some like hardcore like metal band. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I just love the differences or whatever. And but I don't know where I was going with that. But,
you're diverse. You're a diverse, culture, I love being person.
Yeah, I love just learning about things. You know, my wife likes to eat the same stuff all the time. Like if we go out, yeah, I'm just like,
I'm like,
because also like she knows the places that she was like, oh, I like this there, so I'm just gonna get this.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she knows what she likes at that
Some
certain
people have
place.
to like baby steps. You
Yeah.
can't just dive in. Like I
For me, I'm just
jump in
like, yo,
there.
I'm gonna get the squid with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Have you
try
ever been
that.
to my other friend took me to Ole Tapas.
I've
It's like
heard
a
of it. No, I haven't been
Spain,
there.
like Spain, not Spanish food that I'm used to growing
Yeah,
up, but like we had like rice with like squid ink. It's
yeah,
like black rice. It was so good. It was so cool.
yeah. I went to Korean barbecue with my mom. It was, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
it was so good.
Mhm.
I was like, but they need more food because I wasn't full at all.
Oh no.
Because they don't eat that way.
Oh,
They don't
they eat
eat
tiny.
to be full.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what I mean? It
well,
was just
I don't
like
know
I
how they
felt
not do
good.
that.
You know what I mean? Like I felt
Mhm.
good, but I was like, I want more. You know what I mean? You know?
Mhm.
But what else I had? I don't know if it's still there in Newark. It's called Pobu, the sushi
Stop right
burrito.
now. That is my favorite
Oh,
restaurant. That is my favorite food place.
yeah.
That is my last meal if I ever have one or
Really?
know I'm gonna have one. That
What do you get?
yes,
What do you get? The burrito or just something
the
else?
burrito. I get the
Do you?
Tokyo Mo, but
Oh, really?
but I get
I
the
don't remember
non
what I
spicy.
had.
Huh?
I don't remember what I had.
Oh, I go there like a couple times. Oh, you've only been there one time.
Yeah, and I got two. Before me, I went with my sister
It's
because
so
I was
good.
waiting on
It's
my
my
car.
favorite.
Yeah, and I was waiting on my car, so I was like, "Yo, Lissa, pick me up and we'll go eat." And she's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So we went there. I was like, "I want to try this," and we had something, and I was like, then we were about to leave. I was like, "Yo, let me get another one for the road." And the dude was like, "Oh, you like it?" And I was like,
Oh,
yeah."
I go there. I was there last week.
Really? Oh, so it's still there? Oh, good.
Sometimes you get lucky and DoorDash. There's a driver that can deliver, but not often. Sometimes most of the time you have to go pick it up.
Oh, I hate
It's
that.
so good. You gotta get the burrito. You gotta get the Tokyo Mo.
Tokyo Mouth.
Do you like spicy? Are you a
Depends how spicy per.
It's very spicy, so ask for
probably
not spicy.
Okay.
I asked for the not spicy tuna, not spicy salmon, and fried, and gyoza. Have you ever had gyoza?
No, what's that?
They're basically like, I think people call them pot stickers sometimes.
Oh, okay. So
They're
something
like the
that.
little like dumplings.
Okay.
Get those two.
Yeah, those are good.
Fried. It has to be fried. If it's not fried, then you're not gonna be full.
Right.
Then you should just get
yeah.
two normal if you're not gonna get fried.
Yeah.
Thank me later.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
so good.
I love it. I love the vibes of the restaurant too. It's like so cool.
Yeah, it was relaxed until all these like kids came in acting all
College
like.
kids.
I'm like, why y'all ordering so weird? Like, why do you order the weird stuff? That's. I don't know. Like, if I was in college, I wouldn't.
Really?
It's so weird. Yeah.
I get the same thing every time I go there, so I'm kind of like Heather in that.
Yeah.
I always get the same thing there. I've only ever got the Tokyo Mo. It's my favorite.
I wish I could remember what I got because it was delicious.
Did you get a bowl or you got?
No, I got the burrito.
Was it the crab one?
I don't know.
I love them. They're my favorite. I will
Yeah,
be
it's really
devastated if anything ever happens to that restaurant. Like,
That's what I was worried about. I was worried about like what restaurants were gonna go under because of this whole like COVID thing.
I know.
But like what have you and like Drew been doing? Like you been going out places or anything? No.
We actually created this thing called Club Quarantine at our house, where we have like lights and speakers and like strobe lights and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And we have a bar in our basement
Okay.
that we kind of made. It's like our own little bar. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
bar. And we pretend we're at the club. We pretend we're at the bar.
That's one way to do it.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
lit in there. It's fun. But it will be just me and Drew.
Yeah.
And my best friend who lives with us, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Love you, Steph. She's my soulmate.
Oh.
Sorry. She's my soulmate. She's my best friend ever. If you
That's
ever
cool.
see in all my pictures is that one girl, that's my best
Oh,
friend.
that's the one girl.
That's the one
Oh,
girl.
okay.
Bitch. But anyway, we do Club Quarantine down there.
Oh, that's cool.
We just like put on music. We always put on like 90s music 'cause that's our favorite.
Oh yeah.
That's what we've been doing to keep our sanity. And we legit, we're like, yeah, so we're Club Quarantine. It opens at 9 tonight. No cover tonight. Like,
Yeah.
we really, like, play with it. But we slowly started letting, like, some people come over sometimes.
Right.
We just built, like, a fire pit patio in the back. So No, we haven't gone out. Sorry, I go through this whole. We haven't gone.
No,
We don't
you're
really
good.
go. We don't really go anywhere now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I don't go anywhere because I don't want to wear a mask.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
they try
I
and
got
make me
used to
wear
it.
one at work,
It
and I'm like,
sucks.
no.
I got used to it because for my job, I have to go out sometimes. Like they
Yeah.
work from home because they're lucky.
Yeah.
I kind of work from home, but not really. And I have to
Yeah.
go out and like we had to lay off a lot of people at my agency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a manager, so I didn't get laid off.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. But a lot of people got laid off, so we didn't have enough staff. So I had to do a lot of like the actual like we call it like job coaching or supported employment.
Yeah.
And I would be outside for like 9 hours with that mask on. Like
No
it
way.
was terrible.
I take mine off when I go outside.
I was out like Walmart, like Middletown Walmart, so I had to wear my mask
Oh,
because there was no we had no staff. Like
Yeah.
I had to do all the work because we had no staff,
yeah.
and my mask was drenched. It's terrible.
That's too much.
It's awful. You can't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh
But
But-
nothing even changed for me because like I'm considered essential because I'm security
right.
and I do security at a bank at Bank of America, like big
Mm.
corporate place.
I
So
got some of my people jobs there.
okay.
Some of my clients I got in there. They
Yeah.
don't really hire anymore. But go ahead.
But yeah, so I do patrols, so I walk around outside most of the actually all day. You know,
And you don't put your mask on?
no.
No?
No.
Well, I guess you're like alone, right?
Because they told me to, and I was like, "Are you serious? I have to wear a mask outside in the middle of nowhere. There's no one there
There's no one there.
because they're all working from home."
Oh, because it's Bank of America.
Yeah,
Oh, well then, yeah, you're fine.
yeah. But I have to wear it inside, and I'll do that. I have no
Yeah.
problem wearing it inside, but I was like, I'm not wearing it outside.
Yeah.
So I just don't. They haven't said anything to me, so
But if there's literally no one there, so what are you doing security for to make sure that nobody tries to get in there because there's nobody there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So they have around the clock
Yeah.
security.
I thought you were saying like I was picturing like people coming. I'm like, what if you walk into someone's cough?
Nah,
There's
nah.
nobody there.
Well, even that, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You know
sure
what I mean?
you're not. See, I was very cautious because my mom has health issues,
Yeah, yeah,
and Drew's mom has health issues.
Right.
So that's why I'm so crazy.
yeah.
But like for myself, I know like I'd probably be fine.
Well, see, I was overly cautious. Like I was really cautious in the
Crazy.
beginning. In the beginning,
Yeah, me too.
like the first couple of weeks to the first month, but then after the first month, I'm like, okay, all right, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then now, like, there's a lot of I know everyone's like, oh well, there's a lot of cases and stuff going up now. I'm like, well, you know how much they're testing more.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention to the hospitalizations and the deaths.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
My sister's a nurse
Mhm.
at Christiana, and she told me that they're pretty much the same as they've always been. I mean, she told me that like last week though, but
Yeah. But still, yeah. I mean, I think it's the hospitalizations have gone up a little bit,
yeah.
but like my grandparents were like, I don't care, I want to see you guys. So they're like, yeah. So
I'm
we've been,
so scared, though.
I was scared
How old are your
at first.
grandparents?
My granddad's like 80 something. My grandmom's 70 something.
Mm.
But she was like, I don't care. I just want to see you guys.
Mm.
So we've seen them multiple times. My in-laws are in their 70s. We've seen them all the time.
They don't have
you know,
any underlying.
Um,
I mean, for
no.
an 80.
my wife has a device in her chest
Yeah.
that deals with like her respiratory system because it goes through her throat.
Yeah.
And so she was scared for a long time
Right.
for her health.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, now she's like anti-mask. Like she hates it more than I do.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like I just pay attention to who I'm around and that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
like,
Like even if I
you
am
don't
around
wanna-
people, I'm just
Yeah.
not like, like last night we went to my nephew's baseball game. Literally, no one social distancing. Like everyone was like near each other and
Yeah.
that kind of. I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. Like we're back to normal right here.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
you're not a little worried.
But no, because
well, I guess.
for one reason, I feel like I already had it because I got really sick in
Everyone
January.
thinks they already had it.
Yeah, they do. You know,
They probably
but
did.
I mean, I
Right.
mean, to be honest, I don't get the flu shot, and I've never had the flu. So for this to be the one time that I got the flu is kind of weird.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
you
mean?
know it's not a flu,
But
right?
no, I understand that.
Oh, okay.
No, I get
It's like a
that.
virus you've
But
never
I'm
seen.
saying,
Okay.
right. That's why I'm saying this
Okay.
is because when I went to the doctor,
Yeah.
she told me I had flu symptoms.
Yeah.
She was like, so I was like, so I have the flu. She's like, no, you have flu symptoms. I'm like, I was like, what? Then what do I have?
Right. This
You
is
know?
January when like nobody.
Exactly, because this thing was out and about in November, and no
I
one knew
know.
about it.
Yeah.
All the way up to
Don't get me started on that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's crazy. But right now, I feel like we're in a position where everyone's gonna end up getting it somehow. You know?
I know. Yeah. I'm only worried about like spreading it,
Yeah.
carrying it to people, like especially like the population I work with is they're at risk, like
Right.
and then I don't know, mainly like my mom,
Yeah.
and like so that's why I haven't seen my mom. I've seen her from a distance, but I haven't spent time with her in like months. So
Yeah.
but I'd rather be safe than sorry because you know
That's true,
with
yeah.
anything, minorities are always impacted like
Yeah.
worse because you know lack of
See,
resources, lack of
That's also like I've seen people saying that.
yeah.
I haven't seen any numbers though. I just hear
I just hear there's like more black people are dying.
That's all I hear though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, but
That's
where's
what
the
I
numbers at?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to risk it.
That's true too. Yeah. And it's all up to the individual. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I think I think masks should be a choice. They shouldn't be oh you have to wear it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if a store wants to say you have to wear a mask, okay, fine.
To come into the store.
Yeah, I have no
that's
problem
their
with
policy,
that. Yeah,
so
I have no problem with
right.
that. Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
it's like wearing a shirt and shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I'm not going to sit there and argue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like I'll follow the rules.
Yeah.
You know, but if I'm in a place where I'm by myself and I'm outside,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wear a
Like
mask,
your
dude,
job.
and it's hot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I got this nasty tan line. Like, what do you think? What do you think that's gonna look like on my face with a mask?
I think I had one too, but luckily I like went outside and went away.
Yeah.
But
I know.
you're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, wild times, wild times.
But I don't know. Hopefully it's over soon. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, it will.
It probably won't be for a while, right? I don't know.
It will be.
I kind of stopped checking.
It'll probably go a little into next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there'll be something, either a vaccine or a medication that can help people.
Mm-hmm.
One of those that's going to be out by then.
That's good.
You know, because we're planning to go to Disney in December, and now I'm kind of like.
Can we talk about your Disney thing? I just want to hear like how. So who was like the Disney? Were you both like diehard Disney, and then you like got together, or did you both?
No.
No.
Nah.
Were you the Disney?
No, she
and then
was.
She wasn't.
No, she was. No, she was. So only time I've ever been to Disney World when I was real little. I was probably like 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah.
I went to Disney World and then my sister played AAU basketball and her team went to nationals in Disney.
Aww.
So and that was the next time I went and I was like 12. So then I've never been as an adult.
Wow.
And in 2015, we went like her whole family and us and we went and it's something about it.
I bet it's amazing. I've never gone either. I mean I've never gone.
Yeah,
I bet I always wanted to.
It's so different. It's because people know it's so like such a happy place that everyone's like even if you have kids like whining and crying, they're still not as miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you open yourself to be vulnerable and just take it all in and be a kid again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of people don't do that.
I know.
They're too worried about, oh, we gotta get here or we gotta get there.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, the best days that we've had is when we had no plans. We just walked around. Hey, you gonna get on that ride? Okay.
Yeah.
And we just did that.
Yeah.
You know. And then I don't know. It just makes me like listening to the music and watching the movies and just really getting into it. Then like recently, I've dug into the history of like Walt Disney and all that kind of stuff, and um, like his work ethic and is just ridiculous. In his mind, and yeah, I mean all the now I think I'm more Disney than she is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she likes going there, but she's not as into all the extra things like I am. You know what I mean?
What
But,
like extra like how?
like like watching Walt Disney documentaries and
Oh, like
doing
outside of
like outside
there.
of the actual amusement park.
Okay.
Yeah, like the
in your
actual Disney
day-to-day.
brand.
Yeah,
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
You know, I watch Disney vlogs all the time.
Yeah.
We have Disney Saturdays here.
Oh, what's
Where we
that?
like we watch a Disney movie, we listen to Disney music while we clean and stuff like that, and yeah, I mean it just makes you feel better. It just makes you forget everything else, and that's why I love that place. It's a great getaway. I'm also not a tropical beach person. I can lay on the beach, but that's about like I'm just like I get tired of it.
Do you like to go in the water?
Yeah, it's fun and everything, but I get tired of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You like activities?
I like to go do stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like even in the heat, I could walk around all day.
Yeah.
Like I would like our last trip, I don't think I drank any water.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But I mean there was times where she like overheated this one day and like she went into a seizure and it was bad, but then we went back to the hotel, we took a nap, and then we went back out. She was fine, like she was rejuvenated.
Good.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if you watched any of her. She vlogged our whole last trip.
I haven't got a chance to
Yeah.
yet, but I really want to.
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
pretty.
like, wanting to.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
cool.
literally had no freedom until this month. This is like
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
She yeah, so she vlogged our whole last trip and she really got into it and stuff like that, and I helped her a little bit, and yeah. And
So she's into like documenting and like the same kind of stuff you're into, like so like you're into like.
Well, she kind of just got into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I made her do it on her phone. I was like, "You're not getting a camera when you just started."
Oh yeah.
You know what I
that
mean?
makes sense.
I was like, "This camera's $600-700.
Yeah.
Like, why would I let you use that?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll let you use your phone because you can still get good quality on your phone. Are you kidding me?
I know. Sometimes I see pictures. I'm like, how did someone take that on their phone?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They just suck. They're always blurry.
Yeah.
Do you do like photography and stuff like
Yeah.
your dad? And are you guys all into photography?
Yeah, we all do different kinds. Yeah.
Does Alyssa do any?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, she's the only one. She's not
Like
into
John
it.
does. And...
My sister even hates being on camera,
Really?
which is weird because we were on camera our whole life.
Oh.
But now
picturing your dad like at Christmas.
there's literally when I was born, he's all I filmed. So there's a camera in front of me bouncing in my bouncy chair for like 5 hours.
Really?
Like he didn't turn it off. I'm like, okay, Dad, that's a little much.
Aww.
You know what I mean?
That's the kind of dad you're gonna be.
So yeah, probably. But so my brother, he actually works for a scooter company that does it.
Yeah.
So he does video, he does photos, all those different types of things because he lives in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Then me, I don't even know what I would call mine. I don't know. I like doing cinematic videos, which is like very slow, and you get to like experience the atmosphere. And then pictures, I don't know. I just take whatever looks cool, whatever comes to my head. I don't know. My dad does professional wedding photographer. You know, he doesn't teach math at Redline anymore. He teaches media arts, which is a class I wish that was there when we were there.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome.
So they do commercials. He teaches them how to use a green screen and how to do like different things with the camera and all that kind of stuff. Like he has them he'll have them film basketball games and take pictures at the football game and do different things, outside of class so they understand how to do it. Just things like that. We all do the same thing, but we do it differently.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like the pictures I take are completely different from my brother and my dad, which is weird.
You have your own style. You each have your own individual styles.
Yeah, and my brother has his own style, but I love it. I love doing it, and I got into this stuff.
Yeah.
And I love doing this, and I don't know. We'll see where it takes me.
Oh, good luck to Heather on her vlog and.
Yeah, she was actually gonna start vlogging her daily life or whatever, but then she just kind of she was like, I don't do anything, you know what I mean? She can't drive.
I love when I see her talk about epilepsy awareness and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
No, she's very good.
She's ever thought about kind of documentary. What do you call it? Documenting. Her journey through those. I mean, she kind of does though.
We did want to do that. The only thing is, I would have to film it, and I feel really weird filming in those kind of situations.
Why would you have to film it?
Because she's going through it. You know what I'm saying? When she got her surgery, she wanted me to film. I was like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel just think about it. It's not very often you see someone our age going through that, and then I just think to the other people who probably feel alone or maybe not have as great of a support system like you and could be man I'm not the only one who's feeling like this. I don't know.
Yeah. So
maybe she can figure out how to do it.
She does a little bit. The thing she has in her chest is called a VNS. So she's part of the VNS group on Facebook.
Yeah.
So she will actually people will ask oh, what's everyone's like? She'll this one lady was worried about hers getting it because she hasn't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
And so she was telling the lady what she feels and how it has helped her and all that kind of stuff and made the lady feel better.
See?
So she does things that she doesn't think people appreciate it, but they do.
They do.
Yeah, because you can't see their face and
be a thing.
You're making someone's day. You never know. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's a couple times with my podcast, they're like, oh wow, I talked about my faith one time, and I got a couple questions about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll gladly talk to you, and they were just like, wow, I've never met someone that believes what you do that didn't push it on me, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I grew up in church. I grew up in Christian school my whole life.
Yeah.
But just because of that didn't make me as faithful as I am. What made me as faithful as I am is because I tried to push myself as far away from that as possible at a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wanted to get as far away from it as possible.
Yeah.
I hated it. I hated talking about it. I hated being around it. But just a couple years ago, something hit me. And, ever since then, my walk with God has just been, we get closer and closer. You know what I mean? And it's different when you see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I don't know the Bible that great. I'm not going to say that I do. There's a lot of things that are very contradictive in it. There's a lot of things that make people that don't understand Christianity it's going to make them hard to believe it. Right?
Yeah.
So all I do is tell them my experience. I just say how I feel about it and how it makes me feel. The biggest thing for me was my anger. When I started talking to God more and just tried to understand what my purpose in life was, and my anger slowly just goes away at things because it's his. He takes it. And I don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's things like that, which is why I try to talk about everything. On here I started as a nutrition and fitness thing.
Right.
Right? And I was just like, I get tired of talking about this stuff. I'm into so many different things, I'm into video and photography. I'm into music. I'm into, you know, I don't know. I'm not into politics, but I like talking. I don't know what it is. I like talking about the world and what's going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and giving my perspective and getting other people's perspectives. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's those kind of things that keep me driven and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
love that. I love like people who can't be just like put into a box. Like I consider myself one of those people. I can't just be put into any. I don't like. I don't even know where I fit in like any. I don't have like a thing.
Yeah,
Like you know what I mean?
Right.
All my friends are completely different. I'm different. I like everything. Things that you probably like. People would be like, "What? Like you know about that?" Like yeah. I love people like that. That's just like my favorite type of people.
Yeah, it's like my
Because I
wife.
surround myself with that.
My wife will say, "I just want to be normal." I'm like, "There's no such thing. There's
There isn't.
really no such thing as normal. Everyone's
There's no
different."
such thing. Right?
Like, what do you think? What do you think is normal? You know what I mean?
Right.
And what you go through and what you've been through and what you deal with makes you who you are. And when you learn to love yourself, is when you learn to love everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And until you do that, you're not going to be happy with anything because you're not happy with yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's just the way I see it.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it just makes everything better.
Yeah.
And even if things don't go your way, there's always a reason behind it. Sometimes it's just not for you. I wanted to be a professional bodybuilder. Nope.
I wanted to be a vet.
Yeah, see?
No.
Exactly. Things just come along and they change directions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it shapes who you are.
It does. It shapes who you are.
Like we don't have enough time today to go through my life, but like I went through like so many different things, and I'm just like sometimes I sit back and I'm like I see other people who seemed like they had this like picture perfect like easy life, like one example, like they had two parents. That's just an example because a lot of people don't have like their parent. Like my parents split up when I was little, so like or I don't know, just like a traditional, like you do the step by step to step. You go to college, you do this, you do that, and like I went through like a whole roller coaster of stuff.
Tell me
and
about
like
it.
Yeah, and so I look back, and sometimes I'll be talking to Drew or Stephanie, and I'll be like if only this had happened in my life, then this would have happened, and then everyone like they're like, but that had to happen, and then I really think about it. I'm like, okay, if these things didn't happen, there's no way I would be who I am right now. Like I'd be a totally different person. I wouldn't have found my passion to help people. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Like I would just be totally like, it all had to happen. It all happened the way it was supposed to be. There's no woulda, coulda, shouldas. And like, I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I look back and I just wish or whatever, like just personal things. And I'm like, nah, like, no. Because where I'm at right now, I love my life now. I love who I am now.
Yeah, same here.
I love my life. I love myself. Like, but I had to go through that stuff to get here. So,
yeah.
It's the same. It's, you know what I mean? And, like, just think about the lessons that you guys are going to have for your kids. Like, she's going to be such a good mom. Like, she's going to have that background to, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you guys even decide, because, like, a lot of people don't. Not just assuming you want kids, but, you know what I mean? Same.
Yeah. Well, it's different. It's like her doctors were like, "Oh, you need to let us know 2 years in advance." I'm like, "Yeah, because it happens that way." You know what I mean?
It happens that way. Really? Oh yeah, I know, right?
Okay, we'll just tell you 2 years in advance.
I wasn't planned. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
like who is? I don't think that's really a thing. But I mean, whatever. Some people do. I know some people do. Plan.
Yeah, I don't know. But I like to end talking about or just finding out like what motivates you. Like you've mentioned a couple things, but what motivates you to either like get through life, go to work every day, get up and wake
Mm-hmm.
up and do what you do every day.
Man, what motivates me? Well, I think that, like I said, like I went through a lot, like growing in my child, just a lot. I just went through a lot, and I just knew that if I wanted anything, like I was gonna have to just do it. There's no one who can help me, like, or
Mm-hmm.
do anything for me. Like, for example, like me and Drew, who we've been talking about weddings and marriage, but we're probably gonna have to pay for our own wedding. Like, there's nobody to help us
Yeah,
pay for our wedding.
we did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, it's like you just feel like you don't have a choice
Mm-hmm.
as far as like when it comes to work ethic, because I worked really really hard. I wasn't naturally like a smart person. I had to work really really hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just knew that there was just no alternative for me, for like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for my personal journey, there was just no alternative. Like, I knew for what I want to do, I would have to go to school, even though I hate school and
Mm.
I've never been good at it. Like, I'm not good at it at all, and I had to kill myself, like legit kill myself. But I knew for what I wanted to do that that's what I would have to do. So I just like forced myself to do it, and also have an amazing support system. I keep saying that. But just to get up every day, I'm just so passionate about social work, helping people, all types of groups, and just like making the world a better place. Like, not to be cheesy, that's just legit what I care about. I just care about like people, and I just care about people who suffer, and I want to alleviate people's suffering. I'm just like that. I'm naturally that type of person, so that's just me. So that was as far as my work ethic, as far as my education, as far as, is there any, like, what else do you mean by that? Like, motivating me to like just wake up? I hate
Just to
waking
get through
up.
just get through
I
the
hate
day.
waking up.
Is it the people? Is it the people that you're gonna help? Like you're gonna help people that day.
Yeah.
Or you have a chance to help someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
something
Just
little like
having it
that. Just
having
something
the
like that.
chance to like make a difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen every day,
Yeah, of course.
but when it does happen,
It's the
like,
best feeling.
yeah, like in social work, it's really hard to not take things home with you. Like, so this past year, starting in September, I had to do it's called a clinical field placement, but it's basically like an internship, and I had to do it in order to graduate. So my placement was at Christiana Care at the hospital with the supportive and palliative care team. Like, palliative, again, is the chronic illness situation, people
Right.
who have
Yeah.
chronic illnesses. Um, and like my interactions with those people, with those patients, just sitting and listening to them and like spending time with them and just hearing their story, like, it's not so much of me like trying to intervene and say, well, this and this and this and this. That's not how it works. I'm literally there just for you to unload on me and to vent and to just tell me whatever it is on your mind, and just like listen to different people's stories. I was just like, I have to do this. Like, this is what I have to do. And I care about the healthcare industry, the healthcare field, because there are gaps, and certain people are this I guess I'll just use the word disadvantaged when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to healthcare. Like, there are a lack of resources. There are a lot of people who die just because they were born in a certain group.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they have a higher risk of dying. They have a higher chance of this. Also, just being there for, okay, so this is another thing I did. Social workers in healthcare, we have to help people make very difficult decisions. So I don't know if hopefully you haven't had experience with this, but say something happens to your loved one and they're on life support.
Right.
They're intubated, or they are, there's not much more treatment that can be done. You know what I mean? Like, so you get a chronic illness, you're told there's no cure for this illness, so then you just go under treatment so that you can live your best life, so you can have the best quality of life as possible. That's what palliative does. It gives you the best quality of life that you can come to at this point, right? But these diseases are incurable. So say that you've done all the things that you can do, and you've lived as long as you can, but it's coming to the point where these treatments are not going to make a difference anymore. Like, they're gonna hurt you more than help you, honestly. Like chemo. Like I said, there's people who live with cancer for years.
Mm-hmm.
Then after a while, it gets to the point where there's no more treatment options. You have to. This is the most difficult. I cannot even tell you how hard it is to have to decide like it's time for you're ready, like you're ready to die. Like
Yeah.
I had to help people through that. I had to help people come to terms with death. I had to help family members come to terms with death. I had to help them plan and say like, oh, a freak accident, like a motorcycle. Oh my gosh, on the way here, I saw a really bad motorcycle accident. It was like so sad, but like it
Jeez.
brought me to immediately think about this.
Yeah.
Say you can just be riding your motorcycle, able-bodied young person like you,
Mm-hmm.
and you get something unexpected happens and you're on life support, you're brain dead. They tell you all these things, and your mother or your wife or whoever has to make these difficult decisions. You've never had these conversations before. I don't know if you like, for example, if you would have had this conversation where if I'm in a state where there's no more quality of life left for me, I'm gonna be comatose or vegetable state. They don't say that anymore, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's important to have that conversation with your loved one of what you would want.
Of course.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people don't have these conversations, especially like the older generation, like the geriatric type of elderly generation. They don't talk about that kind of stuff. For some reason, that just wasn't a thing for them. It's just you sweep it under the rug. You don't talk about death or whatever. Then you get into this situation where your loved one has to decide for you.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you imagine how difficult it is to have to make that decision?
Yeah.
Right. So I would be there for them, and like I have to walk with them. I can't just be like, well, I don't really know these people, but I'm just here. Like I have to put myself in their shoes, and I have to feel what they're feeling, and I have to take that walk with them and help them finally get to wherever it is that they need to get to, whether it's we can try more options or it's their quality of life is whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like all of those experiences really like impacted me to the point I just have to do, like, this is just what I have to do. I cannot do anything else. Like, I can't see myself doing anything else. I have to be there for these people. Like, it's just like, I just have to do it. I don't know. That's just how I can't see myself doing anything else other than that.
Hey,
So.
you can't ask for
It was
more than
really,
that.
that was defining for me, that internship.
Yeah.
That was defining for me. So that's how I wake up, and I'm like, that's my goal. My goal is to be like the best social worker I can be. When you look back on a traumatic event like that, you're gonna remember that person, that social worker who was there. Like, this is the rest of this person's life. Or I have the ability to impact the remainder of someone's life who is about to die.
Yeah.
And like, I was so afraid of death before that experience.
Right.
I didn't want to talk about death. I can't think about death. I can't think about anyone I care about dying. But this like helped me so much, and I just know how important those last moments with your loved one are. Like, I know my grandma is still alive. She's 78. Like, it's just, I just understand, like, it's like the end of someone's life. You have to, it's just so important. Like, it's their life. You don't get any more chances. Like, you know what I mean? Or the loved ones who are supporting this person, who are also going through that walk with them. This is how they're going to remember losing their loved one. Like, it's just so important. I don't know. I'm like rambling, but
Nah, that was good.
I just am very passionate.
I get it.
Very passionate about it.
Yeah,
so,
I can tell. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you're very lucky to be able to have passion for something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see that a lot. It took
a long time to figure it out, because I used to kind of like hate people, to be honest.
Hey,
it was like animals, and that was it. Like, I loved animals.
Right. I mean, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I was very passionate about training. You know, I mean, that kind of died off, but you know, I'm passionate about getting to know what other people do and what they give to the world and what they get. You know what I mean? And then also helping people. I can help people by providing them with supplements, and I only carry things that I believe work. You know, because I've tried them. I'm not going to just sell stuff just to try to make money.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, the money's going to come, I think. But if I stay true to myself, and that's what my whole business is like, you know, I had this guy, man, like I asked for like designs gave me the most basic like designs. I was like, dude, I asked him for like 5. Like I kept having to say, hey, no, do this way.
Yeah.
Gave me the next one. No. I was like, dude, oh, come on. That's not even anything different.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you got to do it this way. This is the way I want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I can't draw. I can't do, I can only do so much on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's people way talented more than me,
Mm-hmm.
And it just kept giving me basic stuff. And I was like, my wife was like, look, you're sticking to what you believe and you're sticking to what you set out to do and what you want. And she was like, and I'm proud of you for that. Because that's why I started in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Is because I don't like working for people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I've had owners that I've worked with and they're awful.
Yeah.
They're awful people and they're awful with their business.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I see what GNC is doing right now and they're closing stores left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, a couple years is my opportunity. I'm just going to hop out there. I want to build something more than just a store that you walk into and buy something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be at a store where, hey, you walk in, I know your name. I'm going to have a gym in the back. I'm going to have my podcast studio in there.
Yeah.
Like, I have it all planned out. It's just about getting the work done.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Your brand is important. Your brand is important to you.
Yeah.
I totally relate to that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what another thing I wanted is I wanted a name where it meant something to me.
Mm-hmm.
Strong Tower is my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I started with. It's my foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I say that in my intro to my podcast.
Yeah.
So if you listen to it, like I'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what I layer everything in my life onto, and I build this, this building or this object.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm building myself on top of this foundation, and that's what Strong Tower means to me. You know what I mean? Is because Strong Tower is my Lord and Savior, and that's my foundation, and everything just gets built up on top of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it hard, do you think, because you're so well versed in like this entire like field, but like, is it hard to come up? You have this original idea, you have this vision, and then when you start getting there and you get bigger, like, do you see that it's hard to kind of not lose it, like not lose your original, like your brand, like not lose what it's about. Like I've seen like so many family-owned businesses and they like, or whatever, like they started a certain way and they had this vision and this mission that they had, and then like it gets too big, not too big, but like, you know what I mean? Like it gets bigger.
Yeah.
And then people try to rip it apart. Like, once you start going to business with like other corporations, like and all that, have you like ever thought about like what that's going to be like, or
no,
what you're going to do?
Yeah, because I'll figure that out, I think, when we get to that road. Yeah. But I know that I never want to work for anyone. Mm-hmm. So if I had a chance to, get big somehow, it's not about how big I can get. This is not why I do this.
It's about the quality of like what you put out.
It's about the quality. It's about the, it's funny because like I want to build a community. And I'm not really a people when which is weird. But when I'm in my element, it's different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When I'm around the supplements, I get to talk about health and fitness to people, and I can talk about anything other. I used to work at a supplement store a couple of years ago. I had a lady call one time, and our conversation started with health and fitness, and it started about supplements. And then it went on about why she's overweight. Everyone has a deeper reason than just like, oh, I want to lose weight. I always try and pick to really get to that. Yeah. And usually it takes me a couple of days, but this took a phone call. Mm-hmm. And she was open with me and she gave me, like, she went deep. I was like, oh, like she felt comfortable with telling me these things. And like she was in tears and I was being brought to tears. Like it was crazy. I hung up the phone and I was like, what just happened? I don't know what happened in that lady's life. I don't even know her name.
Oh, you didn't work with her again after that?
No, because she called in. She lived in another state, but she was asking,
she called in.
and all she called to ask if we carried a certain supplement.
Oh, dang! She should have came back.
And it went from that all the way to, you know what I mean?
Wow. I love that.
Things like
I love hearing people's stories, and there's always a reason for everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just always a reason for everything. Not to bring up social work or be like a social work, whatever, again.
Right.
So there's this theory called objects relations theory, which kind of reminds me of like what you're saying.
Right.
Where like basically what objects relations theory is that our early childhood experiences, our early social scripts, all of our early, from like conception into like whatever, they impact like how we turn out. They just impact everything, right?
Right.
So it's like whenever someone is having an issue, like that's why it's important to like dig, like why, like what is it what experiences like shape the person you became.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. That's really important with like health and like weight loss and all that stuff. Like
it is.
People just immediately are like, oh, well, the person's either like this or this or this, but it's like you don't know. You don't know what trauma is like.
I've worked with enough people to learn about them and understand that everyone that works out, everyone that wants to lose weight or gain weight, has an underlying, like, it's different in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's been people I haven't gotten to open up, and it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for them to do anything.
Yeah.
Because, or to make any like stride towards their goal, because they couldn't come out with their real reason. You know, like even I have a real reason for why I want to like muscle and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like everyone has their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Jada, it's been great talking to you. Yeah. I'm so glad that you came in. Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad your nerves calmed down and you became open. And
it's
all good. It's all good. It was fun.
For the record, this is now my favorite memory. But to answer the person's question who I was like earlier, what's your favorite memory?
Yeah.
This is my favorite.
Well, yeah, this is the Strong Tide Podcast. We're out.